Voice message from a client on Tuesday. Says, "Hi, Doug. It's M here with S Office. Give me a call when you get a chance. My computer is not working. I wanted to see if you could fix it." So I called her and found out that the vertical market software support
DougBot said, "Hey, is this thing on?"
had already tried to fix it. I'm going to check on that audio. Yep, that audio's working. And my audio? Yep, that's working. Okay, so their tech support had already worked on it. Said, "I think it's a network problem. Call your computer guy." And so that's where I got brought into this. When I called her, I connected to her computer, and the problem is it's a two-station office, to an attorney and the attorney's assistant. The assistant's the one that's contacting me because she cannot connect to the attorney's computer, which is hosting the multi-user law office software. I know, two people, but still that's multi-user, two of them. That's multi. When we try to connect, well, she's trying to go into the law office software and it fails to find the server. So I try to connect to the computer just using the run command. Click the, Windows key R, usually the way I do it. I don't know if that's the way I did it then. And then // and the name of the computer trying to connect to. And it comes up with the screen for putting in a username and password. So it does see the computer through the network. Put in the username and password, and it fails to connect. So I go through some troubleshooting. I hang up the phone with her. I've got access to both computers. And sure enough, cannot get connection between the two computers. So let's see, I'll come over here. Now I had to restart Big Beast Build just before showtime. So I had all these windows all set up to go, but I turned to an AI because I really like doing troubleshooting with the AIs because it helps me not miss things. So let me think here. It was on, I think I used two, maybe even three different AI systems during the few days that it took to completely resolve the problem. And let's see, can I find it, open this panel, and then go down here. Yeah. Okay. I got to a point where I was suspecting there might be an issue with the Windows update because the server in this environment had installed an update the day before. My client confirmed that she was able to connect and work fine the day before. Now, this was Tuesday she was contacting me. So on Monday, it worked fine. Tuesday morning, first thing doesn't work. The client computer did not have any updates, but the server computer in this peer-to-peer network did have an update the night before. It was the September cumulative update for Windows 11 Pro, 24H2, I think it is. So I was suspicious about that. And so here I asked the AI, can you find anything on the internet that reported Windows updates broke peer-to-peer networking for an update installed yesterday or today? And no, nothing there. It tells about the big headlines of the day. So didn't find anything there. So somewhere along the line, I decided I'm going to try it anyway. So I go uninstall that update and boom, everything's working. So is that a case where Windows Update actually broke peer-to-peer networking? I was skeptical of calling it that at this point, but it's working. So I reported to the support person at the Vertical Market Software because I know him. We've had interactions with each other for 20 years or more. And
Read chat, please.
And so I just reported to him that I got it working by uninstalling the update, and he responded by, wow. He says, wow, it's surprising that Microsoft would release an update
Read
that
chat, please.
I'm coming to the chat, would release an update that would break networking. I responded to him, I'm not convinced that it was the update's fault. I think there might be something else going on here that was aggravating the situation. Now we got 3 read chats. Let's go see what's going on. Let's try to take them in order. Do !C. There's 3 of them. So the first one, here. There are lots of complaints that localhost is broken in the most recent update. Good comment. Thank you for that. Now, there may be some, I'm going to tell this story in a way that you may come up with several ideas. Please put them in chat because they're going to be informative to people who hadn't thought of that consideration. Now, the problem is solved. Let me give you that spoiler alert. The problem is solved. Now, it got solved on that morning when I uninstalled the update, but that's not the end of the story. Zoom in here a bit for you. And then let's see, the second one, I just so don't like this. Oh, this is actually the first one. Greg guiding me to him. Oh, localhost was broken on servers on October update. The interesting piece of information. I did not find that, and the AI did not find it. And this was not the October update. It was the September update. Apparently, I suspect what happened is that the server computer had not been restarted since it downloaded the September update, and that it just finally restarted because it had been ignored so long. If you have that prompt down in the bottom right corner wanting to restart the computer, I've seen that eventually it will restart. If you ignore it long enough. I haven't proven that. Okay, so that was that one. Lots of complaints about localhost broken, and there was a third one. I heard 3 read chats, and I'm only seeing 2. The one of those 3 is DougBot comment. Did I miss one? I'm not going to read through all these right now because if I keep reading through everything that's in here, then I'm not going to get through the story because it's a complicated story, and I think it's an interesting story. Is there something I missed? Okay, so I think I get back on. Oh, the next day. Yeah, the next day would be Wednesday. The assistant contacted me. I don't remember what's a text or a phone call. Said it's broken again. Yeah, I'm not too surprised at that. So I check up on it, and that update had not reinstalled. I deferred updates on both computers. I just said, don't do any updates for a while. I want to see if this works out. And it did not. So now I come back to the AIs and do some more troubleshooting. Let me get an idea how much this was going for. Let's see here on this one, IPv4 versus IPv6. I knew that sometimes I had turned off IPv6. I thought, could there be something there? Now it was working and now it's broken. Well, Microsoft changes things, and they have been on a path to increase security. So I give this prompt, working on peer-to-peer networking. It was working 2 days ago, became broken yesterday morning. The computers can, oops, that's a typo, can see each other. When I try to connect from the client computer to the server computer, it prompts for a username and password, which indicates it does see the server computer through the network. The logon fails consistently with both available usernames. So I can try to connect with the username of the server computer or the username of the assistant's computer. Either way, it should work. I've gone through all the configurations that I know they all seem to be correct. Yesterday, when I uninstalled a cumulative update that was installed at the time of the breakage, I was then able to connect, but then it got broken again once the server computer got restarted. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention that. The server had been restarted when it got broken again. What thoughts do you have? Please skip the basics that are already proven to be correct, since the computers do see each other and are able to get a login prompt, because sometimes the AIs, they just go through, oh, have you tried restarting the computer? Oh my gosh. Also, I know the passwords are correct. I have proven that by using the same password on the server computer, which actually has both user accounts on it. And I'm not going to read through all this response. I'm just going to give you an idea how long this conversation went on. Let's go. How about going. You can see that bar on the right hand side, the scroll box over here as it's going down. How tiny that is. That gives you an idea how long this went on. Okay, so then down here, I didn't even read through all of this stuff, but I got to a point here where I said, I'm going to take a more aggressive approach and go to the office with my laptop and do troubleshooting with trying to access shared folders from the server from my laptop and other variations, including a USB network adapter. I brought a USB network adapter with me, did wind up trying it. Did not solve the problem. For the troubled client computer and perhaps the server, and maybe also trying Wi-Fi connections, brand new account with a simpler password, things along those lines. There was at one point where the AI pointed out, hey, your password has a pound symbol in it. And sometimes that pound symbol might be interpreted as something else. So try without that. I changed the password. Nope, that didn't help. The AI says, that's a solid plan, Doug. And I think the AI likes my plan here because it's off the hook. Because it has not been doing well. Ouch. Don't do that, Doug. Don't do the scroll wheel while you're in that red dot mode. Now, there's some other interesting things that happen along here. I can't get in. Well, I could get into all of it, but let's see. Can I think of this was Copilot. There's this one that I want to. I have fun. I get a kick out of showing where the AIs are completely wrong, and I can't search through here. Control F just
Read chat, please.
does not work. Okay, let's try this read chat. SMB. I did look into that. That was one of my ideas. And yeah, I can't search for that. So and thank you for putting in that comment, Isavi. It's a certainly valid thing to look at. So in order to test that, in fact, we went through, oh man, it got so intense here with things. Oh, here's SMB program protocol. Enable SMB1 protocol, enable, these were the results of when I do this PowerShell get command to find out what the SMB configurations are at. And I think down here somewhere I give a response telling it what I found. Is that right? That's not that. That's moved on to something else. But, oh, here. Is that it? Maybe. I got to take that off screen when I... Oh, I can't open that. But anyway, so I went through some things with SMB, enabling things, and did not solve it. That should have made networking a whole lot simpler, a whole lot easier, reducing a lot of the security restrictions. None of that solved it. LAN manager authentication level, we went through that. We went through things here that I've never looked at before. We went through some security policies stuff. And so the conclusion here by the AI was your SMB stack is fine. The breakage almost certainly. Authentication level mismatch between client and server. No, you're wrong about that. That was not it, but we did check it out. So anyway, it's at some point we got here. We got to the point where it was just chasing too much. It can't be this complicated. Peer-to-peer networking just is not this complicated. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to go out with my laptop and do some brute force troubleshooting or some ninja troubleshooting, or what would be a better word for it? Just hard core troubleshooting with using my laptop. And that did get me to the solution. But there was a clue to it before that. Here I'm saying, I don't understand your evaluation of the server. You said LAN manager authentication level is set to send NTLM V2 response only, refuse LM, but when I look at it, it says not configured, and the AI explains that, oh, when it says not configured, it's going to the default, which is this piece that it said. So I learned quite a few things about stuff that may never be useful ever, maybe. SMB signing mismatch.
Read chat, please.
Got another idea here? Did you visited from Zavid? Now right click, don't left click. I almost left clicked on it, and that gets me messed up every time. What is server message block signing? Well, it's the SMB. I didn't go look at this because by the time we got to dealing with that, this was not the source of the trouble. And indeed, it was not the source of the trouble. But I never did come across actually reading through this. In direct answer to your question, no, I didn't visit that. There's so much to this story that I cannot get to. We need to get to something that gets a little more on track. Let's see, net use. So we tried PowerShell command, same problem. It would respond with invalid password. All of the error messages were along the line of invalid password. I don't understand why you told me to do step 1 when they were already set as you described, so it makes no sense to restart and test again, because up here in step 1, it was telling me to do something that we'd already proven. You're right to call that out, Doug. Okay, I'm going to try to skip around some of those. Oh, so yeah, when it responded to that, it still didn't acknowledge it was wrong. And I said, but you're wrong. In my screenshots, they are both already set to disable. Please look again at the screenshots. You're right, Doug. Just saying, yeah, the AIs mess up sometime, but I do find them very, very helpful. So we're doing all kinds of stuff here. Now, here got interesting. Let's see, force server flags. I think it's in here. Had to be before this. I wish I could do Control F find in here. Just how do they not do something so basic? Oh, right here. Event log on the server. Open the event viewer. I actually am connected right now to the server computer. I have sanitized things a little bit, so I don't think that I'm going to accidentally show something that I shouldn't ought to be showing. So this was an interesting piece. And I might have to do some zooming and some what's the word? Blurring. Since I had to restart Big Beast build. I lost some of my setup. I gotta go studio mode. I'm gonna bring that on screen in the preview window, so you're not seeing this. And then I'm going to now this computer that I'm connecting to has a double wide screen. Okay, not mobile home, it's a double wide screen. So if I bring that up right now, it's going to be so small you can't see much of anything. So I'm going to do some little production gimmicks here to zoom it. And now I got the right keyboard and mouse. And am I clicked on the right thing? Yeah, So I got to click on baby bee source. Oh, I got to do this. Mm, mm, All right, I'm going to do that here. That's working. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. If I do it
Read
this way, then
chat, please.
I won't have to do the blur, I think. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, there. That's got that set up. Now I'll look at the chat, but I'm not going to bring it up on screen because I've got this on the screen right now. So that last read chat comment was, in adapter settings, turn off TCP IPv6. Now, I was concerned that I had done that in the past and that might be what's going on. In the interactions with the AI, we did deal with that subject to the extent that I felt it was eliminated. But that was a good point. So thank you for putting that in, Scott. Now, so I go, as the AI told me, into the security log to see what's happening when the client computer tries to sign in. So, oh, let's see, there is an error. Okay, no, I've cropped out the part that I thought I was going to have to blur. Okay, so this should work. And the right button to press. I just saw the message about no audio.
Read chat, please.
Why would that be? Nope, I didn't mute. And I think what must have happened is when I went to Baby Beast, that scene maybe doesn't have my microphone activated. All right, so I'm going to have to go fix that. Let's do, oh, okay. Yeah, I think I see that right off the bat. And you know what? I think I can show you this fix. Let me try this. And this. And this. No, nope, that doesn't do it. So what scene was that? Oh, I see. I see. I see, said the blind man to his deaf and dumb wife, who said, I heard that. Okay. Now that has an error occurred. Okay, now I think it'll work this time. I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna want to see in chat a confirmation that you can hear me or not when I bring this back on screen. Okay, so are you hearing me? Yeah, my mixer says that you are hearing me. So I think this is working. Yeah, I see some ones in chat. I take that to mean that you are hearing me. Yes, audio works. Okay, so I'm acknowledging that this is very blurry. That's because it's zoomed in so much. I have the event viewer, the security Windows log on the server computer. Now, this is live. I'm connected remotely to it right now. It's filtered for event 4625, as the AI told me. And these dates and times show all of these audit failures, all these login failures, because that's what event 4625 is it gives us failure for, audit failure. So it's not showing all the successful logins because event 4625 doesn't do that. Now, if somebody would be interested, somebody would be so helpful to go find out what event ID to look up to see a successful login, because I have not looked at that yet and I want to see what the difference is. But this report here got my antenna raised. I thought, oh, I think I know what's going on here. Now, there's a small number of you that might get it. So I'm interested to see if you
Read
get
chat,
it
please.
from this. Greg M says, have you made sure that this network on the server is set to private network? Yes, that is one of the things that I referred to as covering the basics. When I told the AI, please don't go over the basics. I know those. Yeah, they're both set on private network. So yeah, there's a clue in here. Should I leave that on? I don't know if somebody might have already said that in chat and didn't use an exclamation mark C. But I haven't seen it yet. Now think as a clue, think about what you know about the things that I have been doing. And I will let you know that these computers have been in service for, I think maybe a couple of years. They are mini computers. Um, they are among the earliest mini computers that I had put into service. So I didn't have all of my methods settled on. And I'm just going over here on another screen to tell you what
Read chat,
computers
please.
those are.
Read chat, please.
I didn't get the bottom level B-Link computers that you see me doing a lot of because of this peer server and hosting a multi-user program. I wanted to give it a little bit better computer, which I did. I'll go take a look at those read chats. Let's see. I don't want to do that. Let's do here and then here. Those last read chats, Greg M. Same ID in both computers. Just boom. Yes. Yes. But there's more to the story. Same SID on both computers. That was the clue. That's over here. And Greg M caught it. Now there's another Microsoft accounts. Nope, that wasn't it. Microsoft accounts. Nope, not same credentials. Nope, it's okay for them both to have the same credentials. Greg M. Okay, let's give Greg M some points there. Now, how do they, why do they have
Read
the
chat,
same
please.
ID? Why do they have the same ID? Oh, Scott gives me the successful ID is 4624. So we'll be looking at that. I have not looked at that yet. I want to know, is it going to be different? There you go, Greg M. You clone one to the other in prep. Yeah, some years ago. Now, what have I been doing more recently that would have prevented this from being a problem? See how well you can remember that. There's Greg M getting more points, just pulling it all up. Image flash. Yeah, you're day late and dollar short on that one, Tim.
Read chat, please.
Yeah. What? Bend over backwards instead of sys prepping. No. Sys prepping does not meet my objectives. No, because that wipes out the in all of the configurations that I've done on the user accounts. No, don't like sys prepping. Much easier way to do it. And I've talked to you about it. Okay, so let's bring that back over here to inform the rest. The thing that they saw, the people saw this, was a security ID right here, null SID. Null SID. I said, well, there's no security ID? Well, yeah, there's a security ID. Greg M says you're using strat save. Let's see, let's get this. It's really hard to hit these buttons right when I can't see OBS. You're using strat save. Yeah, SID change is what I call it. I don't use the word strat save in my thinking, so I didn't recognize it. Change SID is what I meant. Bend over backwards. So bend over backwards is what he means. Bend over backwards is what he means by changing SID. Using SID change, like that's difficult? No, it's not difficult. Sys prepping far more difficult in my opinion. Although I haven't done it as much as he has. But that's not the end of the story. Yeah, let's see. How do I want to do this piece? Let's bring this here. And I think I can transition that now. Yeah. Because I want to, when I saw that SID, I want to go ask the AI about that. Now, which one of these had that? Okay, so here's the filtering for that event ID. And I think this must be, yeah, and here's when I pasted the output of it. And when I pasted this, I had already seen this null SID, and that was on my radar. Now, let's see, I gave it all that detail. And it gave me all the stuff that it saw in there. I didn't tell it what I was noticing or concerned about. I want to see, does it catch it? No, it doesn't make any mention of the null SID in here. Yeah, so here I say, is the null SID of concern? This computer may have been cloned from another computer without assigning a new SID. And it responds with saying, let's see, that's normal for a failed login attempt. So it's saying, no, that's normal for a failed login attempt. That's not of concern whatsoever. It's not evidence of SID duplication problem, just Windows saying no valid identity was established. Now, I don't know if that's true on a failed. Now, what I should do to test really is try to sign in now that the thing is fixed with an incorrect password and see if it says null SID. I have not tried that. We might do that. About cloned machines. In older versions, duplicate machine SIDs could cause real issues. Since Vista, Microsoft has stated duplicate machine SIDs don't matter in work group or domain scenarios. I already knew that Microsoft's, this is what they say. This is what they have said at least, and still say, as far as I can tell. Computer name uniqueness, local user account, null SID expected for failed logins. So I said, well, okay, maybe that. And so we moved on to do other things. I didn't overrule it at that point. I went back, as I pointed out to you earlier, I went to the office and used my laptop to do those tests that I described. And I was successful from my laptop to log into the server with both user credentials. That must be it. So then I told them, okay, I'm going to work over here on the client computer. And because it's not a problem on the server, I can connect to it fine with those credentials. And so on the client computer, I connected to my laptop, with my laptop tending to be the server, and that worked fine. So then I go, oh, what is going on? Because at this point, I was accepting the AI's explanation that Microsoft says that's not a problem. And this computer's been running for years, 2 or 3 years, I think it is, without a problem. So the end of Thursday, or the end of when I was working on Thursday in their office, yeah, I told her, I don't know what's going on. I've got to keep following up on this. So I set up things so that I could work remotely. They were closing the office early, so I had to leave. And I slept on it. Somehow, what was, I guess what it was is I just told myself, hey, it's simple to roll the SID forward, to change the SID. I've got that down so easy. So sometime during the middle of the night, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do that in the wee hours of the morning. And I had not actually looked yet to see if the two computers had the same SID. They did have the same SID. And the way you know that, let's see. Too many mice around here. Here's a mouse. There's a mouse. Everywhere's a mouse. So if I come up here to command prompt, type, who am I? Sounds like somebody who needs some therapy, right? /user, enter. This bit right here, the last 4 digits of this octet or whatever you want to call it. That's what I focus on for the SID. When I do a new SID, it'll show up different here. And
read
now,
chat, please.
Documentation. Oh yeah.
Read chat, please.
Documentation will tell you that that's not always reliable, but it is in peer-to-peer networking. And they were the same. All right, so now let's go. I think I'm overdue on a read chat. Not seeing it. You're not seeing what? Oh, let's see. Transition there. I can do this one. Transition here. Not seeing it. Greg M. Not seeing it. It seems to me there was 3. Not seeing it. What was the it? What was the it that I was trying to show at the time when you were saying that? I don't know. I don't know what you're not seeing. Because I probably had pressed my buttons wrong.
Read chat, please.
The command window. Oh, okay. Showed frozen event viewer instead. Okay. Are you seeing it now? Yes, Greg says. Okay. So the command in the prompt is who
Yes,
am I
sir. Bob.
/user. So I don't think I don't think you missed much there. But so the SID here's the SID. This is security ID, I think is what it stands for.
Read
But
chat, please.
these 4 digits right here are the ones that I look at to recognize that, yeah, it's a cloned computer because they have the same SID. I think the whole thing is the same. There's some specific meaning for those last 4 digits. I don't recall what it is. So the last read chat was, this is the user SID, not the machine SID. Yeah, that's I think this is the user SID out here, but this will technically, yeah, it's the user SID, but this part does reflect the computer because, and you can test that over and over. Sign in with a different user and you'll get the same number here. I think this is the actual specific user right here. This command doesn't actually get the true computer SID. I think it's up to the end of this number. So it's an easy way to identify if it's using the same computer, because I think what it is that this part is the computer portion and this part is the user portion. Okay, I got all those read chats there. I wonder how I messed up on those, but oh, I know what it is. I probably brought up, no, you said you were seeing Task Manager. All right. Oh, you showed, there it is. You showed SID, but it never showed up on the stream. Frozen event viewer. Oh yeah, that's the, okay, what I did is I pressed the button for Baby Beast. So you saw the remote connection to my client's computer because I pressed the wrong button. Press the right button. It's a simple solution. Okay, so now with having not included all of the things that could have been the source of the trouble, when I got to the point of deciding I'm just going to do this, I'm calling it roll the SID to a new number. And then boom, I didn't even have to sign in. I just restarted the computer and clicked her folder on the desktop that would connect to her data folder on the other computer, and boom, it was just right there. No, didn't even have to deal with the username and password. It worked. Now, what this is telling me is since these recent updates, the SID does matter in peer-to-peer networking. I can't see any other conclusion from this. Didn't used to matter, now it does matter. And I feel vindicated with my decision that I made quite some time ago to just routinely set a new SID on all these computers that I'm putting out into non-domain networks. The explanation was that duplicate SIDs was a problem when you're working with a domain. These are not domain networks. This is just peer-to-peer. It looks like now it matters. So all these computers that I've been
Read chat, please.
assigning new SIDs, I'm glad I did. Now, it might only matter when the computers are actually trying to connect to another peer, which that isn't something I do a lot of. Well, let me put it another way. A lot of the mini computers that I have put out that were cloned that did not get a SID change, they connect to a server, not a domain, but just a file server. Not quite peer-to-peer. Now, let's see. I'm going to turn off studio mode and then go get these read chats. All in the name of security. Yeah, there you go. probably, and without much of an announcement. Okay, I got that one. Did I look at the ceiling again? Okay. And let's see what Zivi came up with. Gemini. SID relative to identify 1002 is the relative number portion typically corresponds to the administrator defined local user group or group account context of the relative identifier. The last component of the unique string typical SID for user group looks like domain ID, RID, relative identifier. For the domain identifier, relative is the part of its unique meaning of 102. For local user accounts on a standalone Windows machine or user accounts within a domain environment, RIDs starting at 1000 and above are generally assigned to user and group accounts by system administrator or the system itself. These are distinct from the well-known built-in accounts which have RIDs below 1000. Administrators 500, guest is 501. Therefore, SID ending 102 is often identified as a standard non-built-in user account or group where the SID was created. Okay, that completely what I was understanding it to be. So if I sign in with a different user account on that same computer, it should be, it might be 1003. I think that number actually shows up in the profiles in the registry. I'm not certain about that. We don't need to go down that road right now because this is just getting into deeper weeds. It does, the last four that I'm showing, they consistently reveal to me that, yeah, if it's the same as the computer I cloned from, then I have not assigned a new SID yet. When I assign the new SID, that number always changes. And that's a quick, easy way to check up on it in the scenario that I am doing this. Okay. I think I should hand out some more points. Did I finish the story? Yeah, so when they arrived in the office on Friday morning, I was able to tell them, hey, your computer's working. It's all good. Actually, I texted her before she got to the office. I thought I was going to be working on that over the weekend because I was just dumbfounded because I was believing the published information that SID doesn't matter in a peer-to-peer network. Apparently, that is no longer the case. Where am I trying to get to here? Chat. I don't know if I'm going to remember all the people that have been contributing to this. I recollect Zivi, certainly. It's got all this chat's got to catch up. Yeah, the chat isn't coming in that quickly, I promise you. It's just behind. Got another 8 minutes to go to get caught up. Almost there. There we go. Why am I not getting a pop-up? Oh, is it because of these different way that YouTube's showing me the names now? Yeah, see, it's not, I'm used to doing at ZVI. It's at MAN now. When they go and mess things up like this. So the Zivi put in a few things there. So let's give him 1,000. Let's give Greg a little more. And who else? I think Rand had something else in there. I don't know if I remember everyone who's been participating there. So I'm throwing those out a little bit haphazard. Hello, Dennis. Went down this rabbit hole a few weeks ago. Dennis has been, he's an approved user. I recognize the name. I don't recall how he first came aboard. But I see that he's not a moderator. Looking to see what other name. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. He requested chat approval recently. And I think I know you well enough. You see a bunch of moderators here, mainly that gives you the ability to put in links. And it just lets me recognize that I've identified that you're not a troll. I'm not asking you to do moderator functions, and you really can't because everybody else is moderator, right? So now you'd be blue, Dennis. And welcome aboard, Dennis. Let's throw him some extra points just for showing up. He asked to be approved for the chat, and now he actually showed up. So let's throw him some extra points for that. That worked. Hello, Arnold. No, it's easy to change the SID. I use SID change. A utility from that company that somebody else put in the name. I never remember it, but you've seen me talking about and developing my SID change routine, and that did solve the issue. So with Microsoft saying duplicate SIDs don't matter for peer-to-peer network, that is no longer true, apparently. There's a flag in the SMB client server configs to ignore security signatures. SMB client configuration requires security signature false. I think I went through that with the AI and it did not solve it, but I can't swear to that. And here it's from StratSave. So that's the technique that I use for, and I purchased it. They have every month they put out a new serial number for testing and evaluation purposes. So you can go get the new serial number and apply it. Well, I purchased the professional version. It was 200 some odd dollars, I think. And it works differently. It's not quite as easy because with the temporary IDs, it's kind of a runtime thing. You can put in that ID right now, but when you've purchased it, now you've got to put in your serial number, not ID. It's a serial number. You've got to get the serial number registered in the registry of the subject computer and restart the computer. And then it's a secondary run of SID change to actually accomplish changing the SID. But if I'm remembering correctly, when you're using a temporary ID, you can put in that temporary ID, that temporary serial number into the command where you're doing the SID, where you're issuing the SID change command, and it recognizes the license and produces a new SID and saves you an extra restart. Does not have to be run on both computers. Dennis is saying it has to be run on both computers. No, it doesn't. Only on one of them because you're just changing it. Let's see. I don't know what that conversation is. Looks like there's been some conversation going on there about it. But no, I only do it on the subject computer, not the original computer. Oh, the sign in. Maybe that's what you're talking about. Carrie Shoei said no sign in every 60 days for US customers. Dennis says it was conversation about the SMB command. Okay, I'm not going to try to figure out what that conversation was about. Oh, the SMB command to do the ignore security signatures. Yeah, I can't swear to you how I had done it, how I had done that. And I'm not going to go back and try to prove that out because I'm way too busy. Yeah. But the SID change is going to be a regular thing for me for every time that I'm doing a clone. So that's just going to be an automatic no-brainer. And I will probably go back on the computers that I cloned without doing the SID change because I have a log of those. and I can just go do the SID change. It's pretty quick and easy to do. Now, there were some comments before the show started, and I haven't seen any. I don't have any questions by email of problems people are having with their computers. I'm not aware of anything that happened in chat for that. If there is, and it, you didn't do a !C, then please direct me to that. I'm going to go bring up chat that happened at the beginning of the show. I probably cannot scroll back to it. Yeah, 11:16 is as far back as I get. Now, did I bring up? Yeah, I did not bring up my screenshots yet. I did screenshots of chat comments at the beginning of the show. Let's see. Actually, I already defined that. I can. Normally, you can go to your home and get to your pictures folder. I can't get to my pictures folder through here anymore because apparently it's incorporated into my OneDrive. And you know what? I should be able to, if I right click here and pin to quick access. I thought I already did that though. Oh, maybe I have it over here. Do I have it? Pictures. Not there. I right click, pin to quick access. That didn't put it in there. I don't quite have this, the way they do this whole thing figured out. Frankly, I haven't spent much time on it. Okay, so let's go into pictures. And then go into screenshots. I just did screenshot of the chat. There's 11:01. That would be it. Make that bigger. There was another one before that. Let's see. That's Alice's comment. Oh, that one does have the right. Yeah, that's this morning too. So this one will have the earlier comments. Yeah, there's an XP battle going on last night. And then Brian says, interesting thumbnail for today. I don't remember ever seeing those paintings on the wall. They've been there all along. They've been there for years. And what's up with the black speech bubble over Ugg's head, asking for a friend? And then, let's see, can I arrow over for that? No, the other one. Al says, I've never seen it before either. Okay. Speech bubble. Good one. All right. So what are they talking about? And I'll show you what they're talking about. I'll shows it to you in big imagery by bringing it up in Canva. And that thumbnail has been used many times. But this is the first time a comment has been made. I noticed that speech bubble a while ago. I was wondering, is anybody ever going to ask about this? So yeah, Brian's the one. Let's see. Yeah, here's the thumbnail. So I'm saying these pictures on the wall. Yeah, they've been there for years. They've been there, I think, as long as this desk has been here, and I think that's was here since the beginning of the show. And then the speech bubble. They're asking what's up with that. Okay, so the speech bubble. I'll start with that, and then show you why you haven't seen the pictures. Here's the speech bubble. It's a pop filter for a microphone. And I had clipped it to the back of the desk. I did not realize it until after I'd been using this thumbnail for a while. I hadn't noticed that, oops, that's probably something I would have been better to not have there. So yeah, it's just this pop filter clipped to the back of the desk. Now, what about the paint? What about the paintings or pictures? Brian says he never seen those before. Let's do point this camera over to there. The paintings are there. Pictures are there. I don't know what to call them, paintings or pictures. If I take this guy and do this, pictures. You just don't get to see them. They're there for my enjoyment. Something people haven't asked is, why do you have movie screens? Or is that obvious? You got to stop it at the right point. All right. Curiosity answered. Back to chat. Was there anything more in these from this picture? Conversations about the XP. There's the conversation was about the XP and YouTube's points system, experience points system. These numbers right here, the purple numbers. And somebody was asking if it's a reference to Windows XP. That was Brian. He knows better. He was just messing with them. Is there something else I was going to do in here? Oh, did you change your name? Did YouTube do it too? Yeah, the names are showing up differently because YouTube in its infinite wisdom has decided on some channels, or it rolled out incrementally, whatever, where it's showing the actual channel handle rather than the friendly name. These are all unique names now. There can't be duplications of those. Ken says, I told you guys it was coming. And Selden asking, is everybody ready for IA or AI? All right, that's all that. Okay, did Dennis show up in blue? And for those who don't know, you get 50 points for every minute that you're active in chat. And what does active in chat mean? Well, it means that you're still on this list, this participants list. Right now, only these people are considered by YouTube to be active in chat because the rest of yous have not had a chat message within the last 5 minutes. Assuming this works the way that they tell me that it works. So right now, this is indicating there's only 10 people, if you count DougBot as a people. Now, I think if another one of you that's not on this list right now, if you put in a chat message right now, I think it'll pop up right here without me exiting out. Yeah, there it is. It's getting bigger. So as long as you're showing up in this list, which means you've had a chat message within the last 5 minutes, then you are still gaining 50 points every minute while you're still on this list, which means if you want to keep accumulating points, and I hope you do, you should keep putting a message in chat. Even if you just type a period and press enter, that's completely fine. I don't know if a space does it. Oh, there was another interesting story problem that I came across with a client. Reserve the right to be silent. There, I think that was oh, that's Oystein. Hello, Oystein. It is going to be more challenging to recognize people's names with seeing their channel handles. Got a drink from the Zoom Homies cup. The Zoom Homie cup, one of the many benefits that comes by being a participant in the Ken Stout live show, or at least it was. Ken says, nice cup. Okay, the other story. And this is a story about being versatile and knowing a lot of stuff about computers and not keeping your focus real small. This is a story about when I started my business, I decided I wanted to eat the dog food. Wait, no, there's some phrase, eat my own dog food. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And basically what it means is the software and the computers that I'm selling to my clients or installing for them, I should be using those products. So I'm very familiar with them. So my bookkeeping right off the bat, I started with QuickBooks because QuickBooks is by far the most popular accounting bookkeeping program among small businesses. So I started out right off the bat using QuickBooks. I've done some very major intense projects with QuickBooks and with Microsoft Office. And when I started out, WordPerfect was more popular than Microsoft Word when I started my business. So this is a story about something that I'm able to do for my client because I am very experienced with QuickBooks. The Law 40 office is being audited by the California State Bar, and they want reports showing all of the trust accounts. So an attorney's office commonly will hold money in trust on behalf of the case that they're working on or their client. Sometimes there's multiple clients for one case, so the money might be held for the case rather than titled as an individual client. So they want a report that shows all the money that was on the balances that were on hold for their cases during 2024. And they want the full transaction record of each of those cases. QuickBooks Desktop Pro, and we're using a 2016 version here, a little bit out of date, but even the more current ones do not handle trust accounts for attorneys' offices very well. There's more expensive accounting packages and add-ons for doing a more thorough trust account bookkeeping work. But QuickBooks is adequate for this office because they don't have hundreds and hundreds of trust accounts. And we can, at any moment in time, we already currently can and monthly do print out the full list of transactions and the full balances of the accounts that are currently active. But this is a little different because this report they're wanting is one that we don't need on a regular ongoing basis, because they want one report that shows all the transactions for all of the accounts that they were actively holding money for in 2024. We don't want to print all trust accounts that are recorded in QuickBooks because this QuickBooks company file has been in place since 2017, I think it is. So many of those trust accounts, in fact, way by far the majority of them were already fully closed out by the time 2024 came around. So we want to be able to print a report that shows of the accounts that had balances at some time in 2024, whether they're still open or not. We want to show those balances and all the transactions. And the built-in report capabilities, the custom reports, none of them have that capability. So I looked at some options of what to do, some fairly complex, and I wound up deciding, you know what? I think we're going to be fine with just doing this in two separate reports. One report that shows the listing of all the accounts that have balances during 2024, and then we'll do the report that is done routinely on a monthly basis that they would print for a particular account. And we'll just take out the filter for the case name, and we'll choose multiple case name filters and just manually go through and click check marks on all the ones that we want to include in this report based upon the report that shows all of the accounts that had balances in 2024. So I think this is going to be a much simpler way to deal with it than what we thought we were going to have to do. At one point in this process, as I was working with the person who does the bookkeeping in the office, we thought, oh no, these have been entered wrong for the last 3 years. We're going to have to go back and manually fix them all. And no, that turned out to be incorrect. So this client and many other clients turned to me. In fact, some CPAs offices have turned to me for solving issues that are outside their normal workflow. And there are many different products that I work with for my clients that are outside of just pure Windows support issues. And so I encourage you to use the major name products and get to know them well so that you can do more service for your clients. And I speak of clients to you as my intended audience is Windows support practitioners, Windows support technicians, whether you are paid in money or just appreciation. I mean, for those of you, if you're doing it for your friends, neighbors, relatives, people that come to you and you're not actually charging them money for it, but you're doing it for the satisfaction of helping them, the appreciation that you get from them, just the intellectual intrigue of doing the work, those are all compensations. So whatever your role is, if you're at all open to it, I encourage you to go down that road and learn more about the products that people are using. And use them yourself for your own purposes, if you can. Tim saying that's true. If nothing else, we're getting Doug some awesome chat ratings. Yeah, that is part of the strategy. That is part of the strategy of the point system. Keep chat active because that is a useful thing for the YouTube algorithm. Ami Pro, Quattro Pro. I've used Quattro Pro. Ami Pro. That sounds really familiar. Quattro, Ami Pro. Is that the same thing? Okay. I did get a couple of emails just as follow-up. And I've got Outlook set up to go to the email rather than Gmail because, I mess that up once in a while. Let's see. A couple of follow-ups from Sam Lazar. Oh, you know what? When I do this from Outlook, Outlook doesn't zoom in as conveniently as the Gmail web interface does, because I can zoom in the browser, but trying to zoom in on the message, I think I should be able to go to, is there a view? Yeah, oh, there's a zoom sub item. Move that to 200%. Okay, that looks better. That doesn't, see, I can't just scroll his address away. Sam's already given permission to show his address. This is about his client who was having the problem with synchronizing calendar and contacts between his computer and his phone, and I think an iPad. And it was
Read chat, please.
Was it a Gmail account? And we talked about suggesting using an Outlook account, and he did. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Marsman, I'll finish this story first. Let's try this technique. Copy that. I'm just going to copy and paste into Word. And do this there. So, see if I can paste all three of those into Word. So I copied each of the three things that I want. And I think the first one was this. And then Windows V, the second one was my response to him. And the third one was his response to my response. I think there's some stuff in here worth mentioning or talking about. And if I hit the view menu and do page width, that makes it bigger. Then if I do F11, that makes it do full screen. Does it? Thought it did. Close up that menu, full screen mode. Okay, there we go. Hi, Doug. I've done some more digging around and found and tested the old iCloud Sync client to sync out a classic Outlook with contacts and calendars to be able to sync those to a mobile device. Although it's not ideal configuration, my client will be relying on iOS mail calendar and contacts across his devices. He wants to use the native mail and contacts in iOS. Given the constraints, this seems to be the most practical path forward. Hopefully the transition feels smooth, especially since Outlook on iOS won't be part of his workflows. He does not want to use Outlook on his iOS devices. Another option is to have second email, an Outlook.com email for syncing contacts and calendar, because that would does that sync natively with the iOS apps with an Outlook.com? Yeah, the problem was he's using Outlook on the computer, but it's not a Microsoft address. I think it was a Gmail address. The downside with this, if he shares a calendar entry, it will be that email address at outlook.com for sharing a calendar entry. Not many people do that, but if a person does do that, that could be a very regular part of their workflow. This was before he met with the client. He was still going to meet with the client tomorrow at 1500. So this message must have come in on Sunday, I think it was. And then I say, thanks for the update. Sounds to me like you have a happy client. Yeah, there's a message missing here because he had another communique. Let's see. I think it must be this one. Is it? The client was open to switching email clients if Outlook proved unworkable. So I walked him through a few alternatives, including migrating the client itself and using iCloud for calendar and content sync. Unfortunately, calendar sharing wasn't an option in that setup. I really feel like I've missed one. I may have neglected to flag an email from him properly. My recollection is that it was useful. There. Now, great. When I search Sam Lazar in Outlook, it doesn't give me the hits. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. His update after seeing the client. Yeah, because I was having, in that message that I was just reading you, I was having a reaction to something that he said. Here we go. It says, hi, Doug. I hope you're going well. I've just returned from seeing my client, wanted to share a quick update. I introduced him to Betterbird as an alternative email client and showed him how it works on my laptop. I also mentioned the option of setting up a free Outlook.com Hotmail account to sync calendar and contacts. In the end, he opted for an Outlook.com address, which he's now using for syncing. So they actually did implement that. He's also found it handy for creating secondary accounts with services like Google and Amazon. So bonus, he found an extra reason to like that solution. Personally, I prefer to steer clients away from Microsoft Outlook, especially when Betterbird offers similar functionality with fewer complications. But in this case, he's more comfortable with sticking with what he knows, even if the change would have been minimal in my view. Now, I'm having a little reaction about in his view, because in my opinion, you never know everything about what a client is wanting to do. So this was an earlier communique. Yeah, here's my response to that. Thanks for the update. Sounds to me like you have a happy client. I have become very reluctant to talk a client into using what I think would be better for them because I have been burned by that. If the client has anything that they have disappointment with about using the method that you talk them into, they will blame you for it, even though every hardware software has pros and cons. It's like if you recommend a particular mechanic to a friend to repair a radiator problem, and then that friend claims that after that mechanic worked on the car, the left rear tire will not hold air pressure anymore. They will blame you for the recommendation. I prefer to give options and let the client choose. If they ask my opinion, I will tell them, and I will qualify that depending upon the person and my sense of them by saying any direction you go can have things that go wrong that are out of our control. And I do use the word our, as though the client and myself are on the same side, because we are. struggling against the hardware and software manufacturers who can let us down at any time. With my long-term clients, I don't even discuss the issue with them. I just do as I choose, and they trust me completely. So here I'm kind of going a little different than what I've been describing. In my long-term clients, I know them really well. I know their workflow. I know what they want, what they don't want. So a lot of times I don't need to have the conversation with them when there's a choice of which direction to go. So I wanted to read this opinion of mine into into the record, and maybe it rings a bell for somebody, and might help you with an issue that you're going through. If you come on kind of strong with a client saying this is the right way to go, and then that has some other consequences down the road that you weren't aware of, something that they regularly do, and I've had this happen. Yeah, so I don't come out strong. I'll discuss pros and cons of the different ways to go, and I'll lay it out. If it makes sense, I'll lay it out, making the strongest case for the way that I think they ought to go. And I have had some times that they have said, no, that's not going to work for me because of such and such. And I go, oh, I had no idea. So having the conversation in a way that is where you're on their side and giving the options and letting them have the control and the decision. There have been times when I have done that, used this technique where I knew the client wanted to go the direction that I thought they should not go. And I've laid out the pros and cons of going each direction. And they wind up, maybe sometimes after sleeping on it, and saying, you know what, I think we should go this way, the one that I know they should go. But they feel that it's their decision. And I have a very clear sense that they are more pleased with the service that I've provided them when they are part of the decision that way. So get off that soapbox, Doug. You've beaten that far enough to beat that drum. Oh, there was somebody I needed to get back to. He said, when is enough. There it is, Marsman. I love Control F for searching for things. He says, I just ordered from Amazon QuickBooks Desk. Oh, wow. Really? Wrong way to do that, Doug. I just ordered from Amazon QuickBooks Desktop 2024, 3 devices, next gen solutions. Your thoughts when you have time to check it out. It's been very difficult to order desktop QuickBooks because they're pushing people so hard towards online. I don't know that. I don't think I was aware that you could order that through Amazon. So let's see. Maybe you might need to give me a link for it if I don't find it real quick here. Let's go over to the Amazonian jungle. Wow, sure enough. I think I have ordered 2024 desktop, but I don't think I've even tried doing it through Amazon. This one's for Mac. Lifetime, not a subscription. Sponsored. 259. No DVD, as if we cared about that. This one's with a DVD for less money. One user, 3 users. Oh, 3 users for 260. One user for 200. Did you have any specific questions in regards to my thoughts about this? I did not know this was available through Amazon. Marsman. That's important information for me to know. So let's throw 1,000 points on Marsman. Next Gen Solutions. Is that brand generic? Where does the next gen come from? Word next does not occur in this listing. Is that
Red chat, please.
the story you bought it from? This is not supported by QuickBooks. What? How do you sell QuickBooks Desktop Pro that's not supported by QuickBooks? How is that even a thing? Please read. Some other sellers are copying our images and may supply unreliable. Yeah, like this is an original image. May supply unreliable or invalid. Boy, I already have a red flag, or at least a yellow flag about this seller. This sounds like some BS. We are the only seller that provides the official package, including the full installation guide and activation code mailed directly to you. Buy with confidence. Avoid risky code-only offers from unauthorized sellers. It's sold by Enemo Pascal. What you get, you receive a document emailed to you containing your activation code details. I'm a very hard time believing that Intuit actually authorized one vendor exclusively to be able to sell this product. That's just not, no, I don't buy that. Real difficult to believe. Please follow the guide to successfully activate your software. This is for Windows PC only, lifetime license. The standalone version is available as a one-time purchase with no ongoing fees or subscription required. Now, I'm suspecting that there's problems with if you're trying to do the payroll module, that maybe it doesn't work at all. Payroll has always been the problem with a lifetime license for QuickBooks because the payroll typically has only lasted for 3 years, meaning if you buy a 2024 version, the payroll add-on is only going to work through 2027. Then you have to get a newer version of QuickBooks Desktop, which they've been trying to stop producing. Please note that QuickBooks itself has never officially offered a lifetime license. Yes, they have. They used to. They used to. That's not true. It used to be just straight out purchase, no subscription. And that license was good for lifetime. I have people still using old editions of QuickBooks and it works fine. You just can't have payroll updates and you're probably not going to be able to connect to your bank. However, because this version comes from third-party stock, they cannot enforce a yearly subscription on these copies. So you're saying that you're getting around the license by using third-party stock, yet you're claiming to be the only officially authorized? Oh. QuickBooks no longer supports this 2024 version. Fascinating. This is 2025 and they no longer support it. I could believe they don't support this one because you're buying it through non-official channels, even though you're
Read
claiming
chat, please.
to be the only authorized seller. If you're required ongoing QB support, we recommend not purchasing. I'll get to that in a moment. We recommend not purchasing this product. Please note that the payroll subscription add-on not available. Okay. And bank feeds will need to be imported manually. Okay, that makes total sense. All right. Check the reviews. Let's see. 3.7 out of 5. There's 5 stars, 1 star, 4, 5, 1. So mixes there. Let's see, what's their summary? Do they give a summary of the reviews? No. I don't see a AI summary of the reviews. Absolutely wonderful. We refuse to pay the $1,000 subscription fee because we run a very small business, no payroll. Seems outrageous. It is outrageous. Even the QuickBooks Online, they've raised their prices again and again and again. So I'm switching to FreshBooks. That's a work in progress. The program actually repaired my inactive 2024 QuickBooks, brought all my old data back. I was months behind on the books and got them caught back up within days. I keep a hand ledger. Oh, so I had all the data. What is this? What is this world coming to when
Read chat,
we're
please.
so distrusting of computers and software that some people keep hand ledgers? Very easy to download as well. I'm very glad to have it back up and running as I've been using it for years. Very pleased with no annual subscription fee. I and my son-in-law do not use any services from official QuickBooks. All right. And I would, if it was available, from what I said earlier, because I want to be using the software that has a majority of the market. That certainly is not a reason for somebody else to do that. It was check the reviews from Oystein, Marsman. I and my son-in-law do not use any services from official QuickBooks. All right. And I'm getting away from them. I have gained the experience with QuickBooks Online enough to be able to help clients with it. So that's why I'm ready to go off to a different product. So I'm going to come back to that one from Chevy here. Just make sure, yeah, there's no other read chat, please. So what's going on here? Install error, Windows updates failed today, Saturday 18th, cumulative update for Windows 11. I wouldn't worry about this. My experience, this happens sometimes. It may be because there's some issue with your computer that update might be blocked. It might not be appropriate for your computer. When you check for updates again, it might never come up with this update again for your computer. I don't worry about this at all. Just do another check for updates. If it keeps continuing, then I would go look into it deeper. But a one-time shot, I'm not going to pursue. I would not pursue investigating that. It's a cumulative update. It would have fed back some information to Microsoft. There might be something about your computer that update's not getting along with, and Microsoft may or may not fix that. If it's causing you some grief, I would even delay updates for a couple of weeks and then check again in a couple of weeks. It could be by doing a search for this, you may find some documentation of what is causing it, what you can do about it. And I would pursue that if it is repeating over and over. Now, I just did a copy of that. I'm going to do Windows key V and make sure that copied onto my clipboard because it brings up that little menu. And I'm never fully confident about it. And then for doing that, I'm going to go to the Google Gemini and go to Tools and do Deep Research and then paste that. And this you'll see what it does for deep research. It's going to develop a plan for the research, and it's not going to do the research till I say, yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, here's the plan I've put together. So it's going to research websites, analyze the results, create a report. So then I click Start Research. And then if you're really, really bored and you like watching paint dry, you can watch it go through its thinking. So if we click on Show Thinking here, it's already set for Show Thinking. So I'm beginning my research. I developed my systematic. This part is not really intended for you to ever read. You can, but this is its thinking. We don't need to read its mind while it's thinking. But you can see how intense that it is doing its research. All of these are links that it is researching. And then it gives diagnostics and confirmed causes. My initial searches confirm the error code such as a widely reported issue. I'm not going to read more of that paragraph yet. Let's wait until it distills everything that it finds for a final report. Identifying primary solutions, high value, workaround discovered. So this is giving some upbeat prognostications that it's going to come up with something useful. Now, when we get to its final report, if we're dissatisfied with this, we might be interested in coming back and looking at some of this other stuff, because some of the stuff that's included in these paragraphs might not wind up being included in the final report. Synthesizing core solutions, confirmation update stability, last resort workaround prepared, investigated root cause details. All these AIs work very different than each other. And so using the AI that makes sense for the task at hand is a useful thing to do. It means you got to learn them all to a certain level. Comprehensive solution confirmed, finalizing root cause, blah, 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 blah. Research conclusion. Now, I don't think it's done yet. I have successfully saturated all major solution paths derived from my expert troubleshooting framework, all potential fixes ranging from component reset, advanced repair, yada, yada, yada. The information is now sufficient to construct a complete expert level resolution report. We haven't seen the resolution report yet. Now this thing scrolls way up here to the top. This is the top of the resolution report, and it can be long. Okay, so that just, well, give me an orientation. Oh, DISM is in there. Oh my good grief. See, this is where when I see this, I'm just going to defer updates for a couple weeks and try again later and see if it automatically fixes. Represents a failure within the Windows servicing framework, typically indicating critical corruption or missing files and system components or their dependencies. This error is rarely caused by simple transient issues like poor network connection or minor glitch in the download process. Yeah, because I need you to tell me that. It's also not caused by my tire pressure in my car being low. Instead, it signifies some fundamental damage to the servicing stack or component software, which are the foundation elements used to apply and integrate new patches. See, I don't believe this. I don't buy this very much. I doubt that there's corruption there. This sounds like, this is kind of, strikes me as generic. What about people reporting it? Attempting to install is highly significant, mandatory security patches, analysis of user reports, widely problematic across both Windows 11, 24H2 and 25H2. Definitively linked to a cluster of severe installation failures. Prevalence suggests update package, dependencies clash, servicing stack, frequently reported, fails late, 27% completion mark. Single mandatory triggers component failures. Troubleshooting methods unlikely to succeed. Standard. Most effective approach, compromise, immediate aggressive repair. No. Furthermore, its update known to include operational issues post. I wouldn't go down this immediate and aggressive repair procedures until I find documentation that says if you're getting that, then you must do this. This is generic. I don't buy it. Before initiating destructive commands, time-intensive image repair is necessary to establish a clean environment. And no, see, I'm rejecting this. Now let's see what Google AI Studio does with that. Let's come down here. I'm just pasting the install error, not asking a question about it. I can help troubleshoot. They're saying run the update troubleshooter, rename the software distribution cat root folders. This is generic stuff. Manus. Manus, I think, no, I'm on a free account and my credits have built back up to 857. I get 300 credits a day. I did not sign into it in the last couple of days. And I was wondering if it was going to rebuild my credits, even if I don't open it. I'm not convinced that it did that, but let's paste that here and see what Manus has to say. Manus.im. I confirm the task to troubleshoot. It's researching the error. So here we see it's thinking. If I click on this, see a little bit more information about its thinking. Confirm caused by corrupted files, update components or conflicts. Now, if you've had any history with the computer with having corrupted update files, or if you just feel comfortable or okay with just wiping out the update cache, then, hey, go for it. Troubleshoot error with this particular update. I found that the update causes localhost connection issues. File Explorer, preview bugs and conflicts. I'll review official fixes or registry workarounds next. Okay, while it's working on that, let's go try Copilot. Let's see, where's its new conversation? Not quick response. I always like doing Smart GPT-5. Paste it there. See what it does. During the October 18th cumulative update, usually points to corrupted update components or system files. The most effective fixes. Now it's got a sub note here, citation 1 and 2. See, I'd like to know, is this actually an authoritative documentation somewhere? So they're doing the cleanup image of DISM. Doing in-place upgrade. Well, another thing I like doing is download the update from the Microsoft catalog, the update catalog, and install it as a standalone installation of that KB number. Disable third-party antivirus. Yeah, these all seem kind of generic. So I want to know, are these citations? Install error. That's giving the error code, but are they reporting it specifically for this update? October 16th. Okay, so this is from learn.microsoft. This is from an independent advisor. This is not from official Microsoft. And this is a generic. This is not a report saying this is a known problem with this update. So I'm not real enthusiastic about that one. Let's see what this one gives us. Tech2geek.net. This is how to fix the generic error. This is from a few months ago. And this is going back to that same stuff. I mean, this might be right. This might be the right fix, but I'm not worried enough about a cumulative update being installed right now. I have no problem whatsoever with postponing updates for a couple weeks. And that's absolutely what I would do before going through all this work. But Doug, security updates are supposed to be installed. Oh, come on. The things that are in the, and this is a cumulative update. This is not a security update. This is not a must install now security update. When Microsoft comes across a must install now security update, bam, it's going to go out to everybody very quickly. It's not going to be held for a cumulative update. There are security updates and cumulative updates, yes, but the percentage worldwide of computers that are going to encounter a damaging problem because of that issue, that is a very, very small number. I don't know that there's any publication source for that, but it's a small number. Okay, so those are my thoughts on it. Chevy says, thanks, Doug, for your advice. I'll just wait for the MS fix. Did that originally come from Chevy? I think so. Yeah, certainly. Oh, he put it in a few times. Yeah, if you would have put that in with an exclamation mark C and then that, you would have had less likelihood of getting missed. So let's throw Chevy some points for bringing an actual current issue. There you go, my friend. Why do I keep picking up that bottle? It's because my cup is normally in that location. Were there any other actual questions in here that I haven't seen because you didn't do an exclamation mark C? Okay, Doman read a lot about 6835 problems, but here they install fine, even on some old legacy MBR systems. Problems, this is something that's bothered me with some people. They'll react to reports of problems with an update, and they'll say, no, there's no problems with that update, and I installed it on 8 computers, no problems. An update if an update causes problems with, I don't know what the number is, 0.001 computers worldwide, that's going to be a big deal. So a single person not experiencing a problem with it does not speak anything to me whatsoever about the validity of the problems that some people are having. No history of problems until today. Yeah, there's always going to be a first time that you encounter a problem. And that's probably in response to what I was saying is if you've had a history of problems on a computer regarding Windows updates, then maybe you want to go ahead and pursue one of those methods. But he's responding there that no, does not have that history. When I come across a problem with updates on a computer, it is often a one-off thing where that computer has not had problems before, and has routinely been the case that if I delay updates for a couple weeks, when it automatically resumes doing updates, I don't hear back from the client, meaning the problem does not come back. think there's some sporting event being discussed, which is fine. I'm just not going to try to figure out what it is. Yes, we are all beta testers, or are we Charlie testers? I would, the insiders ring. I don't know that Microsoft actually calls them beta testers. I don't think they do. But in my thought processes, I think of whatever, when Microsoft is developing their patches and fixes, they have to test it on computers within their own labs. I call that alpha testing. When it gets put out to the insiders ring, I think of that as beta testing. Now they have a few, 2 or 3 insider rings. When it gets pushed out to the rest of us, general populations, that might be Charlie testings or Doug testing ring, Delta, if you want the true mnemonic. Yeah, the May security
Read
update
chat,
was
please.
fine on that computer. Every Windows channel is beta, even release. In the sense that it's not a fully stable product, yeah. Release, is that the word that they use when they release it to the public? Isn't there something like general release or not public? Broad release? Isn't there some name they use? Oh, Lazar, Sam Lazar. I gave a rundown of your emails about where you're at with that client about the emails earlier in today's session. Oh, it must be close to quitting. Oh, it is. It's like, 20 seconds to quitting time. It's funny how I happened to look at the clock right around that moment. All right, here's the email address. If you'd like to send a question or about a situation that you've encountered or currently working with, love to have as much detail as you can give, or you can put a comment on any video and you can ask questions in the chat room. So I think with that, we'll say, which button? Is that what we're going to say, really? We're going to say which button? Oh, it's that one. Yeah, okay. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye.
That's all, folks.
Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries.